Welcome to the channel and thank you for joining us today as we take a deep dive into the fascinating world of rare coins. And in this video we are going to explore the incredible story behind the 1975 1-cent penny from the United States, a coin that on the surface looks like just another ordinary Lincoln cent that most people would never think twice about, but which has in certain cases shocked the coin collecting community by being valued at a staggering $98 million, a figure so extraordinary that it leaves people wondering how a simple copper penny with a face value of just 1 cent could ever achieve such an astronomical worth. And the answer lies not in the ordinary examples of this coin that circulated in the millions, but rather in the tiny handful of rare varieties, mint errors, and anomalies that transform what was once pocket change into a true numismatic treasure. And the 1975 penny belongs to the Lincoln cent series, which had been running since 1909 when it was first issued to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, and by 1975 the design by Victor David Brenner was already deeply ingrained into American culture, showing Lincoln's portrait on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, struck primarily from a bronze composition of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. A makeup that gives these older pennies their distinctive reddish tone compared to the later copper-plated zinc coins introduced in 1982. And while billions of these coins rolled off the presses at the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints, most of them today are only worth face value or slightly more in high grade, yet the mystique of the 1975 penny arises from the rare errors and mint mark mistakes that make certain examples incomparably valuable. Because in coin collecting, errors are not imperfections to be dismissed but rather treasures sought after by collectors who understand that an error is like a fingerprint of history, a unique accident of the minting process that can never be replicated exactly, and the 1975 penny has been reported in a variety of such conditions, from off-center strikes where the design was not aligned correctly on the planchet, to double dies where the lettering and portrait show a ghostly duplication, to misstruck mint marks such as the elusive 1975 D penny with repunched mint marks, or the accidental use of a proof die in circulation strikes. And these unusual errors, when certified by grading authorities, can raise the value into the thousands, tens of thousands, or even into the multi-million range when a truly spectacular piece surfaces. And this is where the unbelievable $98 million valuation comes into the story, because the world of rare coins has always been shaped by the laws of rarity, condition, and collector demand. And when a coin is so unique that only 1 or 2 examples are known to exist, the competition to own it can send prices into uncharted territory, just like how the 1943 copper penny or the 1933 St. Gaudens double eagle became legendary for their values. And so the 1975 penny with its rare errors falls into this category of dream coins, coins that collectors would give fortunes to acquire, coins that museums and private investors seek to display, and coins that remind us that even the humblest piece of change might hold untold value. And the possibilities that make the 1975 penny so valuable are numerous, ranging from transitional errors, where the wrong planchet was used, to die clashes that leave unusual impressions on the coin, to striking mistakes that give rise to dramatic appearances unlike any other. And each of these varieties makes the coin not just rare but also a story in itself, a tiny artifact of a mistake frozen forever in copper. And what makes it even more exciting for everyday people is the fact that these coins are out there in circulation, tucked away in jars, drawers, or old piggy banks, waiting to be discovered by someone who knows what to look for. And while not every 1975 penny is worth millions, the thrill of searching through your own change is that you never quite know when you might stumble upon that one extraordinary piece. And that is why collectors and treasure hunters alike are captivated by the Lincoln cent series, because each year and each mint mark brings with it the possibility of a rare find. And the 1975 penny stands as a shining example of how mistakes can sometimes create beauty, how accidents in the minting process can give birth to fortune, and how history, artistry, and economics can all collide in the size of a small coin. And when you consider the long legacy of Lincoln cents and the countless stories tied to them, from children collecting them in Whitman folders to major auctions where they sell for millions, you realize that this hobby is about more than money. It is about history you can hold in your hand, and the 1975 penny valued at $98 million, is not just an incredible figure but a symbol of that greater truth, reminding us that the smallest objects can sometimes carry the biggest stories. So as you finish watching this video, make sure to check your own coins, because 1 cent might just change your life forever. To today's video, where we are diving into the fascinating world of rare and valuable coins, and in particular the story of the 1977 Lincoln Memorial 1 cent coin, a penny that on its face value is just a single cent but in certain cases has been valued at an astonishing $99 million because of extremely rare errors, minting mistakes, and unique characteristics that set it apart from ordinary circulation pieces. And this is exactly what makes the coin collecting world so exciting, because what may look like a common penny lying in your pocket or in an old jar could actually be a hidden treasure worth more than anyone would expect. And the 1977 penny is a prime example of how small imperfections or variations during the minting process can transform a coin into a legendary collectible. To understand why this coin is so special, we need to step back into its history, as it was minted at the Denver Mint, marked with the D Mint mark below the date on the obverse side, featuring the profile of Abraham Lincoln, which had been used since 1909 when the Lincoln cent was first introduced to commemorate the centennial of his birth. And the reverse at that time still featured the Lincoln Memorial, which had been in use since 1959, making it one of the most iconic designs in American coinage. But while millions of these coins were struck for circulation in 1977, a very small number came out of the mint with unusual errors that dramatically increased their value, and these are the coins that collectors are hunting for today. Errors can happen in several ways, from doubled dies where the design is imprinted twice giving a shadow-like effect on the lettering or the date, to off-center strikes where the design is misaligned and part of the coin's surface is left blank, to die cracks or cuts where parts of the design are raised due to damage on the dies, and even issues with the mint mark itself where the D might be misplaced, repunched, or missing entirely. And each of these rare conditions can send the value of the coin soaring far beyond its face value. In the case of the 1977 penny, some examples have been reported with dramatic doubled dies in the inscriptions such as Liberty or the motto I in God We Trust, as well as in the date, making them instantly more desirable to advanced collectors who will pay huge sums at auctions for these varieties, while others show mint mark anomalies where the D was punched in twice, slightly offset, which adds to their rarity and charm. And even small differences like this can make all the difference between a penny worth only 1 cent and one valued at millions. Another fascinating factor is the condition of the coin, as coins graded at the highest levels by professional services like PCGS or NGC can command mind-boggling prices, especially if they are in mint state red condition, which preserves the bright copper luster as it looked when it first left the mint. And it is these pristine examples with rare errors that have been reported to achieve values approaching $99 million in certain private sales and speculative valuations, a figure that may sound unbelievable but reflects the extraordinary demand among top collectors who are willing to pay whatever it takes to secure a once-in-a-lifetime rarity. This is why it is always recommended to check your pocket change, your coin rolls from the bank, or those jars of old pennies sitting in storage, because the chances of stumbling upon a rare 1977 penny are small but not impossible, and with the right combination of error, rarity, and condition, the coin you hold could be worth more than a luxury home, or even a fortune. The idea that a tiny mistake at the Denver Mint nearly 50 years ago could create such immense value today shows how coin collecting is not just a hobby but also a fascinating journey through history, economics, and human curiosity. Because each coin tells a story about the time it was made, the technology used, the attention to detail, and the imperfections that make it unique. Imagine the excitement of discovering a coin that most people would dismiss as ordinary but that actually carries hidden secrets, only revealed under magnification. And that thrill of the hunt is exactly what drives collectors to search through thousands of coins looking for the rare gem. The 1977 penny reminds us that value is not always in the face number but in the rarity, the story, and the demand among collectors, and this is why such coins have become legendary in numismatic circles, sparking bidding wars and record-breaking sales when they appear. So while the vast majority of 1977 pennies are worth only face value, The few that display extraordinary errors or minting mistakes are in a category of their own, representing not just a coin but a treasure, a piece of history, and a symbol of how something so small can hold unimaginable worth. If you are a collector or just starting out, the lesson from the 1977 penny is to always keep your eyes open, learn how to spot mint errors, and understand the value of condition, because you never know when the next great discovery might land right in your hand. And who knows, your humble penny might be one of those legendary rarities carrying a value of $99 million. Forever changing your perspective on what a single cent can truly mean. To the channel, and today we are going to talk about one of the most fascinating coins in United States history, the 1981 1-cent penny, a coin that at first glance looks just like any other copper-colored cent you might see in circulation. But in reality, this coin has a story so unique and value so extraordinary that it shocks collectors and investors alike. With some rare examples believed to be worth up to $100 million because of errors, mistakes, and mint mark issues that make them incredibly rare and desirable. So let's dive into this unbelievable tale of how a small coin with just 1 cent as its face value can reach such unimaginable worth, beginning with the fact that the 1981 penny was struck during a transitional period in American coinage, as the United States Mint was preparing to switch from the traditional copper alloy composition to a copper-plated zinc design, which officially happened in 1982, but in 1981 the Mint was still striking coins primarily in the traditional 95% copper and 5% zinc alloy, meaning that collectors often study these coins carefully for transitional varieties, planchet mix-ups, or experimental strikes, and it is in this transitional environment that errors and minting mistakes can occur, creating a coin that may look ordinary to an untrained eye but hides extraordinary rarity. Now, what truly drives the astronomical value of the rarest 1981 pennies is the possibility of mint mark errors and striking mistakes. For example, coins with misplaced mint marks such as the P for Philadelphia or D for Denver appearing doubled, repunched, or in the wrong position can create an error coin that collectors are willing to pay huge amounts for, while other errors include off-center strikes, broad strikes, die cracks, or double die obverse varieties where details like the word liberty, the motto "I in God we trust," or the date 1981 appear doubled or distorted, and because such errors are extremely limited in number, when one surfaces in high-grade condition, collectors compete fiercely in auctions and private sales, driving the price far beyond the coin's humble face value. In fact, the record-breaking values of certain 1981 pennies are tied to the possibility of unique one-of-a-kind error coins combined with pristine mint state or proof-like condition, which adds to their rarity and desirability. So while most 1981 pennies in circulation are worth only face value or a few cents based on their copper melt content, the rarest examples have reached values estimated in the tens of millions because of their unmatched rarity and demand among serious numismatists. What also fuels the fascination is the mystery surrounding the exact number of surviving rare error coins from 1981, as not all errors were recorded or documented by the Mint, meaning new discoveries are always possible. And that possibility excites collectors who dream of finding one of these life-changing coins in pocket change, a coin that could turn a simple penny into a $100 million treasure. And to put that into perspective, imagine holding a coin in your hand that most people overlook, and realizing that because of a misplaced mint mark, a double die error, or a unique transitional planchet, you are holding a fortune. This is why coin collecting has always been such a captivating field, because history, rarity, and chance all combine to give everyday objects extraordinary value. And when we specifically talk about the 1981 penny, its importance also lies in the fact that it was among the last years of the full copper pennies, adding a layer of historical significance, as future generations look back and realize that copper cents themselves became a thing of the past, which only increases the desirability of finding one in gem condition with a major error. And collectors also know that the grading of a coin by services like PCGS or NGC can make a massive difference, because a rare error in poor condition may be valuable but not life-changing, while the same error in uncirculated mint state with sharp details, strong luster, and nowhere could cross into the millions and even beyond, which is where the $100 million figures are estimated for the most unique examples. Another factor adding to this incredible worth is the competitive nature of wealthy collectors who are willing to pay almost any price to own a piece of history that no one else has. And when two or more collectors compete for such a coin, the price can climb to unimaginable heights, setting records and pushing the market value into ranges no one thought possible, making the 1981 penny not just a coin but a legend in numismatics. So the next time you see a penny, don't dismiss it as worthless, because history shows us that tiny details, minting errors, or transitional anomalies can turn something as common as a cent into a fortune, and the story of the 1981 penny is the perfect example of how patience, knowledge, and a sharp eye can uncover a hidden treasure worth up to $100 million, proving once again that in the world of coins, it's not the face value that matters but the history, rarity, and uniqueness that determine its true worth. And that is why collectors and enthusiasts around the world remain endlessly fascinated with the incredible 1981 1-cent penny. A coin that embodies the idea that extraordinary value can be hidden in the most ordinary of places, waiting to be discovered by those who dare to look closely and understand its story.